Such affectionate acceptance.
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
They were big. They were hitting hard too, man.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Broaden the areas of participation for women.
That sounds very stylish.
What is my problem? What do you think?
Beat sitting home watching television?
Hello. Thank you for joining me early in the evening / late afternoon. I really appreciate it. I know this is kind of the weird time where people are getting off of work, having dinner, and possibly prepping for their own streams. But thank you so much for joining me. Today, I wanted to kind of just keep it lighthearted a little bit. This is, despite the ComicsGate chat talk title, I wanted to kind of keep this kind of positive and just talk about, what we like about ComicsGate and what it means to us, maybe some of our experiences. And I thought, why not invite one of the biggest champions of CG, the man himself, Mr. JayBama. And let's go ahead and bring him in, and we'll get started with something wackadoo I could play real quick here. How about we'll do this?
Get that fucking soap, you clean up this mess, and get your ass out that door looking for a job, you retard.
After I just said, let's keep the swearing to a minimum, my major intro, like all swearing, but
Yeah, that's on you, not me.
Yeah, I know that was all me. But anyway, thank you so much for agreeing to join me. And I've kind of been thinking about this for a while because, there's obviously drama and everything going on. And a lot of times people want to just focus on the drama and the negative and everything. And all the positive things, the good things kind of get overlooked whenever, the issues are kind of swimming through the air. And again, I do consider you one of the faces of ComicsGate, of this movement, because, you're always active in the chats. You're very supportive. You've always, retweeted all the creators. And another reason I wanted to chat with you is because, like myself, and I'm sure many of the people out there who have kind of been witnessing all the crazy going on, you and I are just consumers. Our skin in the game is we just want, entertainment. Right. We want to stick up for, issues and everything that we believe in. Let the big lions, the big boys, duke it out as they may. But, at the end of the day, we just like our good comics, and we want to support who we want to support. And so, yeah, that's why I thought, I could get a good perspective from you. And you and I did go to the Tampa Bay ComicCon. And I think for the most part, you had a good experience and everything. I know I had a great time there. We missed out on some of the insanity. What's going on in the chat here? Are people being?
Yeah, I can't read it. I can't read it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, just people saying hi in their normal friendly way here. Yeah, fans. That's us. 7 of 9 was saying, nice shirt, John owes you a beer. 7 of 9 actually being another one of those that is a big supporter of CG and ComicsGate. I always see him, promoting creators on, on the X, the Twitter and everything. But where would you like to start? Would you like to start on what exactly, maybe what got you into ComicsGate or what it means to you?
Well, I was talking with my wife because we went to SeaWorld today.
Oh, nice.
Well, we live in Orlando, so it's like,
I miss those days.
Yeah, you live in Daytona from what I understand.
Yes.
And so, most people, they come down here, they'll spend 12 hours in the park, whereas me and the wife will go spend maybe an hour or two.
Yeah. Do you have the annual pass or whatever?
Yeah. And so like when it started raining and we're coming back, she's like, Abra's gonna. I told her Abra's gonna have me on stream.
Yeah,
and she's like,
sure.
Why?
That's not.
Well, that's a good thing about a wife. The wife will keep you humble, and when I was explaining to her, like, why do you get involved with the drama? Why is this stuff happening to you? And I'm like, I wasn't trying to get involved.
Yeah, just when I thought I was getting out, they pull me back in.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I harbor no ill will toward anybody, but I'm going to be honest with people. And I told her, it's like, when I look at ComicsGate, was I a big supporter of comics prior? No. You know,
Same here.
And it's not because it was garbage. It's not because of all this stuff. It's just, you know, as you know, Ethan said on his stream, and it was said on other streams, I don't see very well. So, and a lot of people who've met me, you know, they like they get weirded out that I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with them? But I hide it very well. I don't see very well, and so
yeah, I wasn't even aware of that. So
right, and it's like one of those biggest kept secrets. People make jokes and stuff, and I don't care. What am I gonna do? Get mad? And so, like, you know, like when John Malin, I showed him. I got my what's that one? The hood one. Oh my gosh, can't even say
Black Riding Hood. Yeah,
he's like, read it. And
the
I'm
hood
like,
one.
he's like, read it, and I'm like, holy crap. It took me like, you know, 10 minutes where everybody else it took about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, no, I was trying to like savor it. So, you know, I would go through kind of drinking everything on the page. But yeah, it probably took me about 10 minutes.
I read slower. And so like people who give me digital copies like that, I can read that easier because I make it bigger on my iPad and stuff. But you know, that kind of took me away from the comic book. But I always loved the superhero stories. I always liked the detective stories. I always liked the that kind of aspect of, you know, just escapism. Yeah. And when I started getting on YouTube, I discovered the Fandom Menace, which I think a lot of us came over from the Fandom Menace. And then I think it was me and Chokart were kind of born on the same day as far as CG is wise, because I think it was the Rumble in Toontown.
God, yeah. That was hilarious.
That was the very first thing I saw, and Ethan was so hilarious. I was like,
it's ma'am. You remember that? Yeah, it's ma'am. It came over it.
I had to like, this guy is funny. I got to know what he's about. I started watching, and then I just started binge watching streams. Yeah. I didn't go too far back, but I missed a lot of the drama from that. From I think it was 2019 is when that happened, and I started missing some of the drama. But I started binge watching the Jack, binge watch EVS, and it got to a point where I stopped watching TV. I stopped watching movies, and I started, you know, and more shows started happening. Shane came over, like 10 months later. I let, you know, and just Steam just started rolling, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, this is my entertainment. This is what I like.
Yeah.
I like hanging out, talking, making fun of each other, making fun of stuff that's funny or ridiculous, and just being genuine with each other. Right. And so
we have that camaraderie, that bond.
Right. You know. And I'm not like, oh, I'm all about the mission and all this stuff. I was like, no, you know what? I don't like, somebody said on Twitter today, I support CG because I believe what they're doing as far as a whole group. And so I promote people who are genuine creators within CG. They're not trying to cause problems or anything. I may not back them, but I'll give them a share. I'll promote them a little bit on my little Twitter account. And I've done that from everybody, from people who are here still to people who worked in the mainstream to people who are gone. And I will continue doing it. It's just something that, you know, it's a hobby of mine, just hanging out. And, you know, I do read some of the books, and I do, you know, like I am slower, and I do get through. And yeah, that's about how I started. And then as far as, you know, I was there and I did super chat, and I send like $2 super chats. And it's really just to make fun of people. Not you, Abra, of course.
You could, yeah. When I get monetized, you can make fun of me all you want.
Yeah, no. Do not wish that upon yourself.
Oh, I know.
And so some of the stuff like on the I made that Chinese baby joke.
Oh my God.
I think Cecil spit his water.
Yeah. Oh my God. That other night was just crazy. Like I felt like I was on a crazy train, you know? like
Yeah,
what is going on?
But that's my type of sense of humor. I think that's one of the reasons, like Anna, and that's the thing too, is like nobody knew who I was really until not even Patrick, until it was it was a MegaCon. I met a bunch of people at MegaCon. It was kind of a loose hangout, and we all had fun. We all made group of, I think Maroney was there, rode in the car with Maroney, Southern Cecil, if they're in the chat. What's up, guys?
Speak of Maroney.
Hey, Maroney. And then let's see here. There was a bunch of people. I think even Patrick T was there, but we'd have to, we'd have to get him when he's not.
He had a few brews going on. Again, an interesting night. If you guys are not aware, you can go back and catch the replay on Tuesdays with Cecil. This one actually aired on Wednesday, so it's Twinsdays with Cecil. That was a stream to remember. Or forget.
Well, see,
I don't.
So I met Anna and I hung out with Anna and talked with Anna. She recognized me from the crowd, and I'm like, really? I was like, because I still had an AI. I had an AI art, and I'm like, wow, I'm flattered because I wish I had a body like that. And
Yeah, you're the avatar thing, you know.
Yeah, that was something Sheila made for me, and it's fooled a lot of people. But one sec. Sorry, I'm getting over sickness.
Oh, no worries.
And so, met Anna, and Anna's a real genuine person. The way that she is on stream is the way she is in person.
Yeah.
And so we talked and everything, and then I think Cecil was coming down for Halloween Horror Nights, and I think Anna was supposed to come, but she had to cancel or something. But it was during that whole content house for Chrissy Mayer and FNT people. And so Anna, she linked up a play date between me and Cecil. It was very cute. and she's like, I'm walking in the thing. It's like, Anna, where does Cecil want me to meet him? And then Cecil's like saying the same thing, but he's streaming and he's like texting her, and she's like, he's over by the Velocicoaster. I'm like, Velocicoaster, what the hell is that? This is
funny. It really was like a meetup or something.
Yeah, it was like a play date, and he's sitting there streaming. It's like, okay, here comes JayBama. So he recognized me already. And I guess I got a face a mother can love, and it's very memorable. And so, we met and we hung out. We went on the Velocicoaster, and like the whole day was like Tuesdays with Cecil.
Oh
and
my God.
Yeah, he's like, you want me to buy you a beer? And I was like, I should be buying you a beer. So we just traded back and forth buying beers.
Nice, yeah.
And I kept on saying, it's like, you want to keep drinking? You keep drinking. He's like, I don't know.
Yes, he does. For those who don't know, I mean, Cecil in real life, he's one of those guys that could sell ice to Eskimos. He just has a very charming personality. He could get along with anybody. So if you ever get a chance to meet up at a con and see Cecil, definitely take advantage of that. But yeah, so you guys ended up just drinking a bunch of brews and kind of bonding over that.
Yeah. Then the bondage happened. No.
Oh.
What ended up happening? No matter how many beer we drank, I think we drank like 3, and I looked at him. I was like, I'm not feeling anything. And and he's like, yeah, me either. And I'm like, it's because we're walking 6 miles.
Yeah. That'll kill a buzz really quickly, especially if it was hot out.
Yeah. Then Ashton and my wife met up, and we went over to Halloween Horror Nights, and so. And then and this is the thing, guys, if people are having meetups at cons, if people are going to be at a convention, go meet them. Go meet them. Just say, hey, I'm this guy from the chat. Hey, I'm this guy from Twitter. And they're like, oh, yeah, I remember you. And like, they'll trust you because they see you as a real person. They don't see the avatar. They don't see the fake name. So, yeah, that's a suggestion. Like Maroney was there, Southern Cecil. Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of people there that I know. Abra was at Tampa. So, I mean, now I guess you want to get into Tampa.
Well, yeah, a little bit. Real quick before we segue over to that, 7 of 9 wanted to know what the first CG campaign you backed was.
The very first one? Yeah. Cash grab. Really?
Mm-hmm. Mine was because I kind of got involved with ComicsGate in late 2018. So it was kind of early on when it was still this new budding idea, this thing, and people were still trying to figure out, what direction to take it. And it first kind of started out like a social networking thing where people could, air their grievances after being, blacklisted in the industry, or, indie creators who were trying to see maybe their dream come true and utilize, utilize the crowdfunding thing. For me, my first one, because I actually stumbled onto Ethan's channel, was through your boy, Zach. And so I backed Jawbreakers and thought it was kind of cool concept. I was familiar with G.I. Joe back in the day, although I was more of a Thundercats and then Ninja Turtles cartoon viewer. But I definitely appreciated G.I. Joe. I watched it a little bit growing up. And so I liked the concept. And I liked the idea that Zach was taking, he decided to do something about the fact that he didn't like what was going on in comics. So, rather than just complaining and not really seeing anything change, he decided that he would try to contribute and make something instead of just sitting back on the sidelines and complaining. So, and then, subsequently I got involved with ComicsGate, watching ComicsGate live and everything with Ethan. But yeah, my first campaign was Jawbreakers, and then at first I didn't even know about the whole cyber frog thing. I was like, cyber frog, that's kind of weird. And then
it's very 90s. It's very 90s. Yeah.
And then when I saw some of the artwork and the pitch that Ethan had, I was like, okay, I'm on board. And then it's like, since then I've backed over 200 campaigns. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would say for the most part,
I'm gonna look up how many I've backed. I can't remember. Somebody was challenging me in that on Twitter, so I was like, I don't know.
I've had some disappointments on there. For the most part, people have been able to, to turn out their, I don't want to say turn out, to produce their art, their book, get it out there, and I put that on there. Yes, over 200.
Wait, viewers?
No. Had that with Malin. We got 50 viewers right now, so say hello to everybody.
50? Come on, I tweeted this out.
Well, it's a weird time. I knew it would be kind of a weird time. But yeah, where was I going? I don't know. But yeah, some of this stuff has been a little disappointing that it's been late. But at the end of the day, I've been happy getting the product and why am I calling it product now? I hate that when people keep saying words so much that it starts invading your lexicon. It's like, no, the books, the art. Okay, let me
be great. Be great.
All right, positivity. But yeah, for the most part, I've been very pleased with everything I've backed.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how many I've backed, but I got like 21 pages on my backer contributions page. So
yeah, ABS is going to be reviewing ISOM too. Now, just to clear the air, I did not support ISOM only because early on, I haven't really followed Eric July, so I haven't, I wasn't like a long time Eric July fan or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't feel like I had any skin in the game. And I prefer like the type of superhero comic that he was presenting wasn't really in my wheelhouse. I don't mind superheroes like Superman and Flash and Batman and, like the X-Men over at Marvel and everything. But on the whole, I like fantasy. I like sci-fi. I like, I like the Western ones, the comics that have been coming out. I like the, like Andy Smith's core draft fantasy and everything. So yeah, I didn't back it. It wasn't my cup of tea. That being said, I mean, the people who backed it and liked it, there's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to like what you like. But I definitely, I think that there is value in being able to take and receive criticism, because that's how one grows as a human being. I mean, God, we're not even talking about just criticism of your art or what you produce, but criticism in life in general. Like for you guys out there in the chat, if anyone can tell me, if you see areas of opportunity where I can improve, on my channel and stuff that I could do, please tell me. I mean, I get what Eric's saying. A lot of people will probably be like, you suck and this and that, but, and you just kind of go, thanks for your time and move on, like Ethan was saying. But, if somebody's saying, I'd like to see more content like this, or perhaps doing this will help you grow or whatever, that's valuable. And if somebody's going to take the time to tell me that, I can at least take the time to listen and that's just my 2 cents, so to speak.
Not to go deeper into this.
Right.
But I'm not going to critique. I'm not going to critique all that's said or nothing like that. I'll just say this. From my experience being a former athlete, okay, whether it was wrestling, football, working out in the gym, I'm a champion powerlifter.
Yeah.
If I didn't take criticism for, like, let's just keep it in the gym. If I didn't take criticism on how my proper technique for doing a bench press, everyone knows a bench press. Everyone thinks it's just up and down on your chest. No, it's like a golf swing. And that's the way it was described to me. So when I took it to the point where I was winning trophies and everything with it, I was like, you know what? I need to receive criticism. So if a guy who has more trophies than me, or he's got more experience than me, sits there and says, hey, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you why. And let me show how you can change your technique. I started listening. And when I started listening, I got stronger. When I continued and I started applying more and more, I didn't get hurt as much. I was able to be, I'm 5'8". Everyone knows I'm the same height as Cecil, but I'm thicker than Cecil, and
from pumping iron,
from lifting weights. And so it's one of those things that it's like, oh, how did you get so big? It's like, I listened to people who have been there before. I applied it to myself. I didn't do everything that they did, but I applied it to myself and my flavor. I put it on my flavor. And so I got to where I was, and I was able to put on and do things that a lot of people, and I would work out with guys who were 6'5", guys who were, 6'8", former guys who played football and everything. And I asked myself, how are you so strong? It's unreal. How are you able to keep up with me? And I'm like,
a little clock at Hercules.
But here's the thing: my body wasn't able to handle it.
Yeah.
Whereas they can keep going. My body's like, okay, you've had enough. Throw in the towel. So I've had to switch things up. But my point is that you have to take these things with listening. And I got the best advice from my competitors. I got the best advice from the guys who beat the pants out of me, whether it was wrestling, football, or my competitors and doing lifting.
Right.
You can't sit there and say that well, it's the source where it's coming from. No. If the criticism is good, now if the guy's sitting there saying, oh yeah, you're just stupid and this is why you're stupid and all that stuff, yeah, ignore it. But it's to say, hey, I don't like your thing. I don't like you. I don't like what you're drawing, or I don't like what you're doing. Well, this is why I beat you. This is why mine is better than you. Why my technique is better than yours, and I'll show you why.
And see, you know what I like about that story is they beat you. They could have, just written you off or um, even criticized, like making fun of you. But they took the time, like they won. They obviously know what it takes to win, and they took the time to share that knowledge with you. So I definitely really, appreciate that. And it's hard. It's hard to take criticism. And actually, examine like, okay, I am not God's gift to, whatever. I definitely need to improve here, and here. Um,
It's a hard lesson to like. Okay, everyone knows my wife's a bodybuilder.
Yeah, she's awesome, by the way, Mrs. Bama. She's a great woman.
But she didn't start out a bodybuilder. I had been lifting. Well, like I had been lifting for 15 years before she started getting into the weight. So she was like, "Oh, I want to do something with you." Let me tell you something. The hell. She's like, "You can train me," and I'm like, "Oh God, no."
That's going to be a little bit of a nightmare. You don't want your woman to come into the gym. You're like, "Oh, come on, she's going to interrupt my routine."
No. I'm not. I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried about the marriage.
Oh well, yeah.
Because the way that I told you is like the way that I learned in the gym. There was no coddling. There was no grace. It's basically like, where I learned there was spit, blood, and sawdust on the ground. And so, every bar and every weight in the gym was rust covered.
That's like a man's man gym,
this was back in the late 90s, but it was like a complete meathead gym that it's just like, I remember one time going to the bathroom and there were steroid needles in the toilet.
Holy smokes. That is
And like I use the bathroom, I flush it and the needles are just rattling around.
Oh God. Ew, that's a visual that's going to give me nightmares.
And I'm teaching her the way that I learned, but I'm trying to be graceful. But she's like, husbands and wives, they're like, oh, they'll argue and all this stuff. There were a couple times she walked out of the gym crying, and I'm like, what'd I say?
Yeah. But that, and more power to you for being patient with her, because I know men and women
she
are
fired
different.
me. No, she fired me.
Really?
She fired me and got her best friend to coach her.
Oh man. But you guys can train together now, right? Like now that she's kind of developed her own routine.
I have to pick my moments when I can coach her.
Gotcha.
But I be honest with you, if you want to learn, and this is the thing, like when you're going back, just bringing it back to where we were, if you have an interest in learning, no matter how the criticism or the advice is given, if you want to learn, you take it. It's like one of those things. I used to coach football too, and one of the things is like, average players, and you can apply this to anything, but average players, they want to be left alone. Good players want to be coached. Great players want you to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I'm like it just hit it's something that like those kind of things break down the barriers that we have that keep us from being great.
Oh God. That, another thing I was just thinking about when you were saying that too is the really cool thing about our group CG is that you have the former pros that have been doing this for decades, but then you have the indie creators, and you also have the just the guys that had a dream and wanted to see if they could do it and bring this dream to life. And so you see all different levels, and the fact that the quote little guy can kind of get advice from these pros. Mm-hmm. It's really inspiring, and that's one of the things that I really like about ComicsGate is just seeing all the different levels of talent and creatives and everything. Comedy special, boop boop. Yeah, that would be on Cecil's stream for sure. But yeah, getting back to the camaraderie, meeting up at cons and everything, there is something to be said about, meeting up and actually putting, as you said, a face to the avatar at a convention. And I think the Tampa convention was probably one of the most positive experiences I've had in a while. No, I missed out on going to the castle.
Did you really?
I did actually.
No. Did you really miss it?
Well, okay. Let me put it like this: that I almost went when I heard about it, but it was late, and we wanted to go. My husband and I wanted to get an early start the next day. So we're like, and our feet were kind of sore because we really did several laps, around the floor and everything.
That's the
So
thing
we're
about cons. It's just so
if
much
your
walking.
feet aren't used to it, like if you don't have some sort of job where you're just, on your feet all day, when you go around a con, at the end of the day, your feet are hating life. But I used to live in Tampa in the early 2000s. Lived there for about 2.5 years, and we would go to Ybor City, to where the castle is, and it was different. I don't know if there was that stuff going on then, but we would go. It was okay. See, I didn't know that because I would only go. There was a cigar bar down there, a few of them actually, and we'd go down there and get a few drinks, and we would go to the castle. I believe it was on Thursdays. Was 80s night. So we would go, and then
Nothing
on the
but
upper.
Cure.
Yeah, it was actually the Cure and Depeche Mode. They had these screens hooked up, so it was nice. I could listen to the music that I grew up to and everything, and see goth people and all that kind of stuff. So it was all in good fun. But yeah, when I heard what was kind of involved there, I was like, okay, and it's not my cup of tea. I'm older now. To each their own. I know Von Coleman, he's just a young kid, stuff like that. He was probably like, his eyes were probably as big as saucers.
Oh no, he was. Oh no, I saw him before you went. He was dressed. We were goofing him so bad.
Aw.
When he was dressed.
But yeah, I never took issue with it. And just as an outsider, and I want to preface this with, whatever people on the other side of the argument, the ones that are kind of bitter about that whole Dungeoneer phrasing, that kind of hazing of being called Dungeoneer and all that. I can appreciate their point of view where they just had a good time, they wanted to have fun, and they not being able to understand why Malin was going so hard on him. I, as an outsider, like just kind of seeing that whole thing taking place, I took it as it's like Big Brother poking at his younger siblings, and but that's not to dismiss their point of view and their advantage. All I am saying as an outsider, that's how I viewed it.
One thing that, like, and this is not, I'm not going to dive into the negativity.
Yeah.
But from the what I said to the person that commented or contacted me about that, I basically says, like, they're just jokes. They're only made big if you allow them to be made. They're only a big deal if if you make them into a big deal.
Yeah.
And you got, and as people who receive this stuff, we have to remember what's the intentions. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. And like, if I make fun of you right now, you're not going to be assuming I'm just like ripping on you and I'm trying to make it personal.
Right.
Because like, I'm the person that if I have something personal, I'm going to say it to your face.
Yeah, and that's what I would hope. I appreciate,
Or if you said vice versa, if you said something to me, or you made a joke about me, I'm going to come to you and say, hey, what do you mean by that? I'm going to find that intention that you had. Now, if your intentions were negative and bad, I'll be like, okay, well, I get it. I'll respect your place. I'll stay in your lane. You stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane. None of that was happening.
Yeah.
Nothing was happening like that. No, it's just things were festered and do it. the whole thing about the castle, I thought it was funny as hell.
I saw some of the videos that they were posting. I was laughing, and I was showing it to my husband. I'm like, wow, we dodged. I don't think I could handle stuff like this anymore. I'm like, we dodged one here. But it was fun to look at, fun to laugh at. And, everyone looked like they were genuinely having a great time. And
I think there was a lot of bewildered looks.
Yeah. Like, wow, I didn't know you could do that with your body. How interesting.
That goes where?
Yeah. Woo. But yeah, I thought everything was cool. And then, obviously the unrest kind of started to surface. I wish, and I know right now this is probably impossible, and because emotions are still raw and high. But I wish when everybody kind of has a chance to kind of calm down and reflect, that there could be some sort of meeting of the minds. Maybe nobody can necessarily be like, oh, jolly friendship again, but just to kind of be cordial, because at the end of the day, we all have the same goal, I believe, and that's to have people, have the creative freedom, allow people to have the freedom to create what they want, and us as consumers being able to to look among that the creative people out there and pick what we want. But I just hope, and that might not be a possibility. I understand a lot of things were said. I am not privy, first of all. I'm not privy to anything that happened in those rooms. I do know how powerful being isolated and just hearing one point of view can be. Because that's kind of happened to me when I was younger, like certain situations back in college and whatnot.
But hold on.
Sure.
You matured out of that, correct?
Yes. But I'm just, and I guess I'm playing devil's advocate. That's kind of like a maybe a personality flaw. I don't know.
Woman.
Yeah.
Woman.
And yes, being a woman, I do have the feels and all that kind of stuff. But these are people that I've watched for years, and I've really come to care about, and I still care about, and I want to see them succeed. And it's almost equating it. The only way I can really equate it is like if you're a child of parents who divorced, it's kind of like that, because you love both parties that are involved.
Who got Abra in the divorce?
Yeah. Well, mine was actually when I was an adult. So
no, I'm talking about in CG. The CG.
Oh. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm an island onto myself, but I still
Keep
love
it that
those
way.
people. Yeah. I that's why I was saying I wanted to kind of steer clear of the weeds of the drama. And sometimes people have to duke it out. I don't know. I don't mean actual duke it out, but have their verbal back and forth duke it out. But I would hope, and maybe this is a little bit of a plea, but I would hope that maybe, as they say, time heals all wounds. Maybe not necessarily all wounds, but it kind of dulls the pain a little bit. That maybe people could kind of talk and come to some sort of an accord.
Well, as far as I know, only one side has only a few people have shut the door.
Yeah.
So my door's open. I'm not going to sit there and name names as like, oh, they did it. But there has been some people who reached out and did made communications from all this. And they've received ridicule for it. I tend to disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
For someone to contact someone out of something, yeah, it could be out of fear or losing posture or whatever you want to call it. Fear is a great motivator, and if a conversation was started out of fear, but it ends up ends up being reason, the reason was met.
Yeah.
And a conclusion, or a proper accord was struck. That's a good thing. And I'm not going to knock anybody who pursued a conversation. Now, denying a conversation, I have a little bit. It's hard for me to to listen to someone if they're not willing to communicate, but I'm of the type of person not to shut the door on anyone.
Right, right. And maybe they're just not, maybe they will reach that point to where they're able to communicate, but maybe they're just not at a point, because emotions are still high, where they're there yet.
Or maybe they haven't reached rock bottom yet.
Well, yeah, that's an excellent point as well. But yeah, I still look back on Tampa with, great memories. I didn't, I think you mostly, did you and Mrs. Bama kind of just hang out most of the time in that area, the small comic area that they had, or?
Well, we did a few laps, and I'm gonna set my, I've never really talked about this. As far as a con, Tampa was not that great for comics.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I will agree, because you didn't really see comics anywhere, to be fair.
Right. I mean, but for the size of it, yeah, it was decent. I mean, it was more celebrity driven and more. I mean, it looked like a hippie swap meet on a lot of places. But as far as the ComicsGate was the biggest, the ComicsGate presence was the biggest ComicsGate presence there, and had a blast with the ComicsGate people. It got a lot of exposure to people as far as ComicsGate. There was that big guy that was like 7'2". He was like looking around, asking questions. Shane, I watched Shane's booth a few times because Yanzi and Terry, he had to go help her out and stuff. So I managed the booth. There's a lot of people. A lot of people came back and said, "Oh no, I was handing out flyers for people."
Yeah, I remember that. That was really cool.
And,
boy, Shane had his hands full, though.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, and yeah, I did that, and it was an overall great experience, even with Cecil being blitzed off his face.
That first day was something else.
I've never seen somebody who didn't have, it was all pupils.
Yeah, it really was.
And I'm sitting there making fun of him and just asking him things, and he can't answer them straight.
I came up to him with my husband because that was one of my bucket list things ever since way back when Cecil was still, first getting into CG and everything. And, people used to poke fun at him. Well, I mean, I guess they still do in a way, but yeah, when it was still very new, I was like, oh, this guy's really funny. And he would do these really hilarious, movie reviews. If you haven't seen those, check them out. The Wizard of Oz one is just perfect. But that was my bucket list thing. I was like, I have to go see Cecil and meet him and buy him a drink. And so I got to do that, but I go up there and he's just like you said, all like pupils. And he's just like, I just took something. And I was like, okay.
Then he put sunglasses on inside. Yeah. And I'm like, you're not hiding anything. Cecil.
No, my God. The pupils were probably about to come out from behind the shades and everything. Alex,
and a lot of people, they don't believe Cecil's stories a lot of times. The girl with the Jar Jar Binks mask was real.
Oh my God.
It was a Jar Jar Binks mask, and she was carrying around a tray, and she had a Hooters outfit on. So it was like a Hooters girl, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, people come up with some really interesting cosplay concepts. They're probably on something too when they come up with them.
In Brazil, they call it cospoor.
Cospoor?
Cospoor.
What, like cause porn or like
no, pores and poor person.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I know cons have changed a lot. I was fortunate enough to get to go to San Diego Comic-Con back in 2010.
Wow.
And same kind of thing. It's not really, they're not comic conventions anymore. It's more like, let's parade around the celebrities, almost like they're gypsies, they're trying to alms for the poor kind of thing.
It's turned into a carny out atmosphere.
It is a carny. It's like sad. That was the one thing that was kind of a little bit disappointing is when you go down, and I think Matt Barr was saying earlier in the chat, instead of artist alley, it's actors alley. You know, you go down there, and they had the same familiar people that you see all the time, those familiar faces. And
remember me from the 90s?
It's like, no.
I was in Meatballs 5.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you.
Yeah.
I'd be more excited to just meet the Jar Jar Binks girl than some of the random people that they have there.
Some of the, like, here's the thing, like some of the cosplay, it was more MegaCon, but it's like anime characters, or like video game characters, League of Legends, or all that stuff, and they like go all out with like these giant swords or giant sickles.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm like, wow, this looks pretty good. And like that, I think that's one of the things the wife likes. She likes the costumes and all that stuff. Because
good costumes are great. Now the cheapy, weird, like you said, the cospoor.
Cospoor.
That's that's something else. I did see a guy in a Master Chief Halo outfit that was just badass. Like,
yeah.
He went all out.
And then there was a guy walking around, and it looked like a real gun. And I'm looking at it because I'm like, how did you get that in? And then
don't they make you wrap it up or something?
It had he had covered up the yellow thing on the end. It's like see the orange thing. I'm like, good grief.
I wouldn't want to get kicked out of the con, but I bet you Ray was saying he went to Tampa ComicCon in '93. Yeah, I bet it's changed a lot even since. Well, definitely since then.
The worst, I mean, there is the Jar Jar girl, but the worst thing I saw was at MegaCon 2 years ago. There was a guy. Now, physique-wise, let's just say average.
Oh, no.
He wasn't fat. He wasn't ripped.
Are we talking like dad bod kind of thing?
Yeah, he had a dad bod, but this is the thing he had on, okay? He had like tennis shoes on, but he had a full latex catsuit anime character. Now, when I say latex, I'm not talking about, it's just faux, it can breathe and, and all this stuff. No, it was form-fitting.
Oh, God, no.
And everything else. And I saw him 3 times there. And he walked up and down. So you go to a con, especially MegaCon, one of the big ones, you walk, 6 miles?
Oh, it is, yeah. At least.
So he was walking around in a full latex catsuit.
Imagine him peeling that off at the end of the day, and all the
the skin.
Yeah. Oh God.
And like we're walking. It's in the main walkway, and I'm like, Miss Bamber, she's walking, and I'm putting my hand out. I was like, let's step a little bit. I'm starting to smell.
Yeah, it's.
And she's like, what do you do? What do you do? And I'm like this. And she's like,
oh, no.
Because some of those people don't use deodorant.
No lie. When I went to San Diego Comic-Con back in 2010, they give you a swag bag. And so you get, kind of like the cheesy comics and everything. But one of the pieces of swag that they gave everyone was deodorant. And it was themed after He-Man. And it was called Eternia Pine. So it's like a pine. I'm like, I don't know what's worse. Like just smelling the BO or smelling, BO mixed in with Eternia pine scent. So,
that everyone is wearing.
Oh, God. Yeah. Hey, at least they know their audience. So like do a favor, and put this on.
Can you imagine them doing that today?
Oh, my God.
Offended? Oh my gosh.
Everyone gets offended. I am offended at their offense being taken. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The Klingon smelling. That was another thing that they did. They'd have the whole area labeled in Klingon language. And then you'd have the people that were really into it and they learned to speak Klingon and they're doing that thing all over you. And I'm like,
Meanwhile, these are the same people probably bitch and moan about, I don't want to learn Spanish.
Yeah, right. They'll learn Klingon and everything, but they won't learn Spanish or anything like French, Italian. It's like, come on.
I'm joking. I'm sure that those people are much smarter than me.
So somebody's going to start cussing us out at Klingon here now. Oh well, as long as you say it and don't spray it, I'm good. Okay.
Don't do that when I'm drinking.
Sorry. But yeah, we saw the you remember that old show MASH?
Mm-hmm.
There's only a couple of the actors left, and they had the lady that played Hot Lips there at Tampa Bay ComicCon, Loretta Swit, and the guy that played Klinger, the one that was always trying to dress drag so he would get
Section 8.
Yeah. And Jamie Farr, and they were just so sweet. And I think they kind of realized that what they had was special, that they weren't going to be rock star famous and everything, and they just really appreciated what they had. So that was really cool.
Well, those people are like those kind of people are like they got to a point where they're celebrities for celebrities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, Shatner's probably the king as far as that. Gene Simmons and Kiss, like, they're celebrities for celebrities. And so, like, having something that iconic.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, they probably make about $150,000 a year just by going to cons alone.
If they get on the circuit, I would have to imagine. But yeah, it was nice to see actual actors there, because a lot of the actors today, they're pretty faces on a screen, or right. they fit into the right checkbox, so that's why they're on a show. But yeah, I really wish that there was more of a focus on the comic books, because it would be nice for ComicsGate to have something like that. Were you going to try to go to the C2E2?
Booked my hotel already. Nice.
Are you doing the hotel that's connected to the convention center?
I think I'm doing the Hyatt. So
the Hyatt.
Yeah. I think it's the one. I think that's the one Shane told me they're going to be at. So I booked the adjoining room to Shane. So Yanzi and Miss Bama can they can take one room with Terry, and then Shane and I can we can have the king bed.
Oh
together.
No. Grab ass.
Yeah, even though we're a couple queens.
Oh no. Yeah, that was pretty epic seeing Shane go mange. It really is, like, you see when he puts on his other persona, it feels like two distinct different personalities.
Yeah, I got to experience the full spectrum of Shane at Tampa.
Yeah, I would call it a full spectrum, because when he when he was at his table,
when he was drawing, you remember that?
Yeah. And
I needed to sit because I had a bad ankle. And so I'm just sitting there, and he is just going on and on and on and on.
Pick him up and move him.
And I'm just sitting there I'm like, yeah, Shane, yeah. I'm just like listening to him. So like that whole thing of like him on stream, like Anna, I think he did it with Eric July, where he's just going on, and he's like, it's just like one sentence for 10 minutes. I was like, wow. I'm like, I've arrived. I finally arrived.
Yeah. I kind of had a similar experience, and I love Shane, but yeah, it's like he gets his thoughts together, organized, and he doesn't want to risk that you will derail his train of thought. So it just keeps going. And I think that's why sometimes he gets so pissed off on stream when he starts to say something, and like everyone just keeps interrupting him, because he's afraid he's going to lose his train of thought. And I get it.
It gets hard. Like, it's one of those things. A lot of those guys, they have a knack. See, like right now, I can converse with you and get have back and forth with you, no problem. It's just when they bring on like 6 or 7 people, it gets hard because like I want to make a joke, and Cecil's making a joke at the same time, and I'm like,
yeah, you don't want to step on each other's toes. I can definitely understand that.
But this is the thing too. This is the reason we need to get into groups, or we need to make a presence. We need to like hang out as much as possible. We had a lunch that day before, or one of the con days, and there was just a bunch of groups. Maroney was there. Sonny Crockett was there. I can't think of his name. Bald-headed guy. Gosh, nice guy. Oh man, tall guy.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
he's gonna get mad at me. I can't think of his name right now. But there was a bunch of it. Yeah, there was a bunch of us there, and we're just hanging out, and all we're doing is just making jokes, cutting up, talking. That's it. Basically like a live stream. It's just
Arvid. Yeah, Arvid was there too.
Arvid. There we go. Arvid.
Well, there are a few people that are lightly
no,
light on the hair, but yeah.
No. His looks like it's like sculpted bald. Like it's like yeah. Some people it's just like it just matches. It is really good.
Let's see, Andrew. He kind of brought up an interesting point here. Andrew Rowland, I think the CG movement had its time and place, but I don't think we need CG to succeed on your own nowadays. We shouldn't start to become what we hated, where you can't succeed with going through CG first. And I agree with that. I think it's good to see it as like a pool of resources and supporters. But I guess you could see it as strength in numbers too. When we're trying, when the creators are getting pushed back from the mainstream and getting or canceled or whatever. But I don't know. It mostly seems like the mainstream is just kind of, they're like, all right, they're doing their own thing. We're going to move on. Every so often, Ethan or somebody will say something that kind of rattles their cage, and so they'll feel the need to kind of poke at CG again. But yeah, I wouldn't say we need like the movement or anything like that, but
nothing is needed. Like there's nothing needed in a group to succeed for an individual to succeed,
right?
But it helps, especially with a lot of people who are introverts. A lot of people who they describe them as like, basement dwellers and all that stuff. Yeah, a lot of the people in CG are like that. Are they as active as far as being able, like Cecil, or like you talked about, like he can sell anything. Not everybody's like that. All right, well, CG will help.
That's a good point. Yeah, because I have a channel, I can bring you on and help promote. Other the big channels and everything can bring you on and help promote. Yeah, good point. Is it needed? No, but is it helpful, beneficial? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's something we can all kind of exchange and benefit from one another, get different tips and ideas, different strategies. So yeah, that's the powerful thing about CG.
It's like steroids, you don't need steroids to get big.
But it don't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah, like I was natty for 25 years, But Mother Nature just said, you know what? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It can help. I agree with you.
Here's another point that Andrew makes too, and I have heard this a lot from the smaller indie creators and again, people that are just kind of hobbyists of comics and want to try to create one of their own. But Andrew said it also feels like CG is only for guys who worked in the mainstream before. I'm a creator who never worked for DC or Marvel, and I don't think CG will promote me because I don't have name recognition.
Wait.
And yeah, do you want to touch on that first?
No, I was like, okay. Can you read that last part again?
Of course. The last part was, I'm a creator who never worked for DC or Marvel, and I don't think CG will promote me because I don't have name recognition.
Go ahead and answer.
For me, I could understand your point of view. I don't think that's necessarily true. I've seen, and I know it's not as prominent as it once was because several of the larger former pros have been burned in the past. But yeah, Ethan used to have a show, ComicsGate Live, where he would bring on.
Oh, he still does it.
Yeah, the little creators, and just try to get eyes on their campaigns and books. And I think. I mean, we've had some people that have kind of come and gone, and they didn't maybe they didn't really believe in what they were doing in creating a book. Like they just had this idea that it might be, hey, it's fun, books, hey, kids, comics. And, so they weren't really sincere with their book or their campaign. And so I think Ethan kind of got tired after a while of people coming on. He gets people to back the books, and then either the book comes out and it's not really all that great, or the person doesn't actually produce said book that he was promoting. And at the end of the day, these larger creators, that this is their living. This is what they're trying to do for a living. They want to promote their own stuff, and they were in the industry together. So there's going to be, and this is understandable, there's going to be favoritism amongst the former pros who work together. Because they know what it's like. They had to work their way up in the industry for, 2+ decades or more. But yeah, that you could still find people to promote you. Andrew, I think it was Andrew, sorry. Not necessarily, but you kind of have to put in the work yourself too. So like, kind of toot your own horn, so to speak, and reach out to some of the smaller channels, like myself and everything. And I sort of have all these ideas that are coming into my head at once. But I was going to say, I think a lot of the smaller creators, they have these big ambitions, and they're trying to run before they even learn how to crawl. And I've seen a few creators that they're like, I'm going to do a 100-page book, full color, that's going to be perfect bound this and all that. And they'll try to do that trick on Indiegogo or whatever, where you set the goal really low. So if they meet that, $100 goal and it goes over that, it looks like, oh, wow, the numbers are gangbusters. And then they're never going to be able to create the product because, they didn't actually get enough to fund the comic and create it, and much less even make a profit on it. But anyway, what I'm saying is you kind of have to push yourself first, promote yourself, just keep at the grindstone. It's not, I'm not saying that's easy. I'm not even saying you're going to find success that way. But I think it's like you have to kind of pull yourself up by the bootstraps first, and kind of like maybe the squeaky wheel will get the grease, like later on, like you show that you're putting in the work, promoting yourself, and then others will eventually notice, and then that will eventually get the attention of the big people. But I'm kind of rambling. I'm sorry. Like I said, my thoughts are kind of all over the place on that topic. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
All right. Now that Abra gave you the sensible, calm, sweet answer, big bad booty daddy's gonna come in. No, I'm joking. All right, listen. I'm just Andrew. I'm gonna give you the best example that you can follow. Mandy Summers joined. She joined about the same time I think that you did, Abra. She came out with a book called Warp the Wizard. And I think it was a story that she made up for her daughter when she was a baby. Yeah,
I remember that. Yep.
She wanted to draw it. Mandy did. No artistry at all. She had nothing, What did she do? Okay, she drew it. She sold a little bit. It's a lot easier for women. I'm not gonna, come on.
No, I mean, we have assets that you guys don't. So yeah. There you go.
So it's like, and most comic book buyers are men. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Boobs are boobs. Yeah, boo. It's
boo.
And so you don't have that. You know what you have though? You have yourself and your own confidence, and you keep to that. You draw, you do your book, you get better, just like Mandy did.
Yeah.
Somebody gives you criticism, say, hey, I can't promote this. You need to step up your game. What did she do? What was the second? The chat can help me out. What was the second book she did? Was it Pirate Queen?
There was the pirate, and then there was the super. Was it
Super Dead? Yeah. Okay. Well, the Pirate Queen was kind of like it was kind of like a 13-year-old boy's fantasy. I mean, it was great. It was like it had like kind of like a Big Johnson T-shirt kind of feel. I loved it. you know, but it was a step in the right direction. Then she came up with Super Dead, and she just slowly started getting better. She started finding better artists, and she came up with Jack the Ripper Vampire. So
I love that one. Yeah.
that you don't. There doesn't need to be any word bubbles in that book. Just take them out and just look at it. You can follow the story because you know Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And just look at the art. And it's
it's Peter Gilmore, right?
Yeah,
The art
Peter,
of that. Yeah.
They stepped
Great.
it up like big time. That was like that book should have won awards. I'm not saying it was the greatest like all time. It's like, no, that was just like that was like saying that's making a statement with what she did. And so what I think she made about 50,000-60,000 on that book, just on the cover. Yeah. It got Dale's attention. Dale did a cover, started doing covers and everything. Boom! What Gem Shock? Boom.
The concept too.
The concept. It's just it comes with time. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm going to go back to working out. You know, no one's going to bench press. Not very few people can bench press 400 pounds the first day they go into the gym.
If they do, they're probably going to break their knees or something.
It's you know, the shoulder or something is dangerous, but there are people. Listen, I've seen some freaks of nature, but not everybody is a freak of nature. So you just have to. Not everybody's an Ethan Van Sciver or John Malin that they have a nerd talent, but even they had to learn and get better at their craft. That's what I'm saying. Just slowly get better at your craft and produce your books. Crowdfund your books, or however you want to sell them. You want to sell them on Amazon, you want to sell them on eBay, you want to sell them through Indiegogo or even Kickstarter. I don't care. Sell your books, fulfill them.
Yeah.
Make sure you deliver them. People will start taking notice. People will start saying, "Hey, I kind of like this," and it's kind of like a snowball. More and more people, will start to gather more and more momentum, and then all of a sudden, you got $100,000 book, and you didn't like what happened. Yeah, the same thing happened to Mandy.
Yeah, and to be frank, you know, I'll put it out there. I didn't back Worth the Wizard when it first came out, because for me, I felt like it wasn't, you know, quite, you know, what I was looking for. But I sure as hell when I saw Jack the Ripper and most recently Gem Shock, I was like, oh hell yeah. And her stories are good and everything. And that was a great example. I think you bringing up Mandy. Yeah, she could have easily just been like, well, you know, screw you guys, and not listen to Ethan's criticism and everything. But
she could have did what Wanger did.
Ah, and I backed that one too. That pissed me off.
I was starting to get it. I'm from the South. He's up in Tennessee. I relate to, like, you know, me and Mandy, we're like cousins. I mean, I can, you know,
not
like,
literally right now.
no, not literally, but I mean, I can just, like, we're from very similar areas, so I could just talk and even though I don't have an accent as much as she does or Camelot does, but I can talk with those kind of people because they're my people.
Yeah.
And you know, with Wanger and stuff, I was starting to get warmed up to Wanger because
me too.
You know, that whole like harem, I was like, that's a pretty cool concept. I was like, I want to see where he goes with this first. And that's what the people want. They want to see, okay, for example, let's see here, Fiendish. I didn't back Fiendish 1, but I backed Fiendish 2, and I went back and I got a copy of Fiendish 1.
Yeah, so I backed Fiendish 1 late.
Yeah, same here. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah, but I'm definitely glad I did, because I think Rini is creating a really interesting world and everything. I mean, she's really putting her all into the world of Fiendish, and yeah, I want to see where she goes with it and everything. But
you can avoid getting involved with drama. You can't stop it from coming to you, but you can avoid from getting involved.
Exactly.
If you want to stay away from drama, I mean, all you have to do is look at a lot of these people. Let's see here. How often do you hear about Graham Nolan and drama?
Never. And he was in Tampa too. You know, he was there. He was there.
He was in that DM group. Zero. How often do you hear about Andy Smith and drama?
Zero.
Dan Fraga. Yeah, Dan Fraga's got a late book, but he's slow. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? He's still, if you go and you talk to him, he'll give you an answer back.
Yeah.
He doesn't avoid you.
Yeah, and he's been upfront too. You know, the few people that have gotten frustrated and requested refunds, he's like, I feel you, brother, here. You know, I understand.
He tries to reason with you, and if
Right.
it's just not working, okay, fine. The real ones, you know, it's just you don't have to get neck deep in it, and like you
Very
can just
true, Dan.
keep your mouth closed, do your books, fulfill your books, go on to the next book, repeat. Just keep doing that. You will start getting noticed, and if you don't get noticed, then you can start saying, okay, well, let me see, what am I doing wrong? Do a self-evaluation. If you don't like criticism from someone else, okay, self-evaluate. And if you can't do that, I can't help you. I mean, if you can't critique yourself and you can't take criticism from other people, whatever, just okay. But just you eat a whale. How do you eat a whale?
How do you eat a whale or an
One
elephant?
bite at a
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
exactly.
How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. It's just stop getting in the way. Stop doubting yourself. Just do what you want to do, and you will get better at it.
This is something important too that Joseph Pantalone brought up. Comic book reviews are important, and that's something I want to try to do more of as well. You know, I started doing the the YouTube reviews and trying to put a lot of flair and time into it. I think right now it's probably more important to get exposure on some of these you know, indie comics, because like I said, I've backed over 200, and there are some real gems in there, people that deserve to have their work highlighted and everything. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that, and that I'm going to try to do better and do more reviews this year. Yeah, I don't think it's as important to have like graphics and shiny stuff. Content is probably, I'm assuming, what you guys are looking for.
No. If you keep it, listen, like I said, you are a girl. You are a woman. You don't need to. You don't. Look at Anna's crap. Come on. Gee whiz. I mean, her background. Like, everyone gives me crap for my background. I'm like, yeah, okay. What do you want me to do? Like, like this is the guest room. I'm not going to. But like, Anna's background looks like a daggum garage sale.
Yeah,
she
has all the pop figures and toys and all that kind of stuff.
Why do people not care about that? Oh, I wonder why. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Just like, don't worry about that. 8 to 10 minute review videos, or if you want to do live streams, just bring somebody on. Just bring somebody else on. And
yeah. I'd chat with them with you. I know it takes you 10 minutes to read a book, but
well, I'll be game to do it. Just tell me what book to read if I have it or not, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Or you can, like, you know, it's not that hard. It's one, and promote yourself and promote other people. One of the things about ComicsGate that drives me crazy is the only time we use the hashtag is when we're arguing with people.
Yeah, that is very disappointing.
Why are we not hashtagging everything that we post? Whether it's promoting a book, promoting a stream, we should be hashtagging ComicsGate to the point where we don't, you know, the autofill takes over after we put C in the C, you know, hashtag C. It has to be done. And the reason I noticed that is because I've been fighting with people on Twitter today. You know, oh God, it's been fun for me. Yeah, I mean, I've been called everything. But here's the thing: they use the hashtag ComicsGate and trying to run me down, run EVS down, more than people who are in ComicsGate use to support ComicsGate. And that's something that needs to change. It really needs to change if we want to get our word out. And also other hashtags like hashtag comics, hashtag comic books, hashtag indie comics.
Indie comics, yep. That's what I've been trying to do with my reviews and everything, is to do that, get the word out there.
Do all four.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily on, like, you know, like the Jack Show stuff. I'll just put hashtag ComicsGate, or Ballers. I'll just put hashtag ComicsGate. Or, you know, Ethan's drama streams, or what they call the trash cast.
Oh God, yeah.
Hashtag ComicsGate. All right. But if it's a promotion stream where they're doing a closeout, they're doing an opening, or they're doing a midterm stream, hashtag the hell out of it, people. We gotta get this stuff out there, because it's like, Abra should notice that there was a lot of people that didn't even know anything about these books. They didn't even know ComicsGate existed.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like on Twitter, everyone will run their mouth, blah, 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 blah. But you get to the point, like, there was a couple people were like, oh yeah, well, I heard they're racist. I'm like, well, tell me how we're racist.
And then they don't have an argument. It's just, well, that's what I heard. Yeah.
I'm like,
that's true. If we could get more, instead of letting them determine the narrative, if we can go out there and just make it ourselves, and show, attach hashtag ComicsGate to all of the projects, like you were saying, and show that, yeah, we're producing great stuff. We don't think people should be lobbed into categories by, the color of your skin, what gender you are, what disability you have, who you prefer to sleep with. No, we care about you as a person, and we care about our art, and we'd like you to, participate in our art. I think that's what the narrative should be. Mm-hmm. And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's see.
I better see some hashtags.
Yeah. Pastor Flash, Abra or Jay could review the 200 books they have. Bit majority of them are not available now or when the review is made. It's why I say it'll be a good idea for creators to send partials for review.
Or digitals.
Digitals, yeah. Mm-hmm. Digitals actually help me a lot too, because I like clipping different
mm-hmm.
sections and everything for my videos. So
you can take a panel. You can take a panel out where you don't show the whole page, or so. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, or just Photoshop it to where I just have the character itself, and I can remove it from the background. But okay, Ray, we're not telling you. We're asking you for those hashtags.
But don't listen to her. I'm telling you.
But yeah, that's kind of what just what I wanted to get out there. I know a lot of people, well, I can't say a lot of people. I've seen several people on Twitter lamenting the fact of all this drama going on. And yeah, there's going to be another trash cast tonight, but
well, they paid him. It's a Visum too. It's my copy of the book.
Well, I mean, hey, it's he's making money doing it. People are watching. So
but
we don't have to watch it if we don't want to.
Right. Well, here's the thing. He's not giving bad reviews. He's giving his honest critiques of the books.
Right.
Now, if he's just going through, oh, look at this. Oh, this is crap. No, he actually sits there and says, I don't like this, but this is pretty cool. This is my favorite part. It's but people, here's the thing. People, you don't like, okay, I'm a Bama fan, right? Yeah. I don't like what's going on at Alabama right now, but I'm still a Bama fan.
Right.
I'm like, I'm a Star Wars fan too. I hate what's going on with Star Wars, but I'm still a Star Wars fan. Like, and don't sit there and I know they call it tribalism, but it's just human nature.
It doesn't matter. They've done so many studies in psychology. You can't. It's just ingrained in our DNA, unfortunately. And I can understand it being a put off. I definitely can understand, especially when you go through Twitter every day and it's just, it seems like nothing but negativity, with elections coming up and this and that. So it can get overwhelming. And maybe that's just, we need to put the phones down for a little bit and kind of walk away, get some fresh air. The drama's not going to be for everyone. I've been enjoying watching it, but I can definitely understand.
And if someone tells you, hey, you need to seek therapy or counseling, don't say, I'm not crazy. I don't need to take. No, go talk to somebody. It's and this is how I'll describe it, because JayBama does therapy. Miss Bama does therapy. We do it together because we want to stay together.
Yeah, I mean, it's work. Relationships are work, you
But
know.
look at it like, you know, your brain as a like a circuit board. And both positive and negatively, it can be wired in a certain way. And if it gets wired in a negative way for so long, for a long period of time, that becomes the normal. The negative pathways become normal. So you may need help with someone who can be able to, like, you know what, let's just take this here and rewire it a different way in order for you to be more like, when drama comes your way, say, hey man, it's just jokes. Relax. Don't worry about it. Hey man, something going on other than this, because this is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You see, you can't tell that to other people unless you can tell that to yourself first. And that's what, you know, that kind of stuff, talking with someone, getting help or something like that works. You just stay on Twitter and you just sit there, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You're just like, blah, blah, and then you get in the back room of a DM, like, like, it's just constant, like, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And then finally you snap and boom.
Yeah.
Dungeoneers.
Oh, we've seen it. Yeah. You've seen, 2018 up till present. I've seen people come and go, and, feelings get hurt and this and that. But CG is still here. Like I said, it's just like a collective, a group of people who like like the same thing. I think we can still get past it and support one another and just keep going forward, you know, and just keep producing great art.
Right. We're not going to
product. Good
products,
art.
not yeah. Well, you know, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say art, because a great story is art.
Yeah.
It's something somebody came up with their mind. Just like, you know, a painting or a sculpture or something like that. Yeah, art. And if you want to sell it as a product, fine, but it's an art. It's a piece of art first. And the whole thing with, like, you know, you talked about since 2018 and all that stuff was like, yeah, this, like, you know, you said it's going to happen. It's going to continue happening. Well, okay. One thing I've learned from all my times dealing with drama and dealing with people, you know, whether it's, you know, wherever it is in my life, is like, don't take someone else's offense. Don't take, like, if Abra is pouring out to me a problem she has about someone else or whatever, I'm not going to take Abra's offense and make it my own, because that's not going to help her. It's not going to help me. And whatever goals that we may have, or if we have shared goals or goals as an individual, it's not going to help that either. You know, what are we doing to push ourselves and push our network?
Yeah. We are like a social network, right?
It is a network. And that's the way it has remained, even though people propaganda, all this nonsense. Oh, it's this, it's Ethan, he owns a trademark, blah, 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 blah. No, it's still a network. Because, like it or not, if that network falls and the fans go away, that trademark ain't gonna be worth dick. So why are people focusing on the trademark?
Yeah.
It's the network and the fans are the core.
It was just, I think, a system or a symptom of a greater, you know, a greater problem, issue, and everything. And like I said, I mean, maybe as tempers kind of cool a little bit, abate over time, you know, people can do some self-examination on both sides and maybe reach out and come to some sort of accord. But again, like kind of coming full circle again, I just wanted to say, again, my whole point of this stream was to just kind of, from a fan's perspective, just kind of chat about what we're, you know, what's going on, what we've seen. I still think CG is great. It's weathered many storms. I think it'll continue to weather, you know, whatever little turbulence we're having here now. I hope people can just kind of, you know, if you're getting bogged down by the drama again, just put it down, put it down. And let's just get back to focusing on the great art, because there are some excellent books out there. And yeah, I'm hoping to get back to reviewing them and shining that light on them, for people like Andrew, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah. And for you creators out there, keep creating. Don't get bogged down by the negativity either. Just keep doing what you're doing. Try to set realistic goals. Don't give up. And, maybe you're not going to be like a huge Stan Lee or something like that someday. But still, don't give up. Produce your art. So that's my stupid 2 cents.
Don't be so negative on this stuff. That's great sense. It's just keep working.
Yeah.
Just, put your head down, get your books done if you're an artist creator. And if you're a fan, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have, at the end of the day, we vote with our dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to back what we want to back. We're, going to pass on what we don't. Maybe we like something, but we don't necessarily want to put our dollar behind it, but we could still put our time like, you do. You've been retweeting projects and everything using the hashtag. So, that's how we can continue to support one another. And I personally, it sucks when books are late, but I could tell you when a book that was late comes in and it has great art and a great story. I love Direct Planet. As soon as I was getting into it, it's been a minute. Yeah, I waited for it, but it was well worth the wait, in my opinion. Maybe somebody else doesn't share that. Maybe they don't want to wait that long. Your dollar, you got to put your money where you want it to go. So
I look at it this way. And I think I was telling someone, I can't remember who it was, but I was like, I think Shane talks about the hot and ready pizza versus red.
Yeah.
I used to watch a lot of chef shows. I don't know. I used to watch shows where food I couldn't eat, but
masochist.
Yeah, it's called food porn. Yeah. And so I listened to, I think it was Gordon Ramsay. He says, "Hey, listen." And he goes, don't send out shit.
Yeah.
People are willing to wait for a masterpiece dinner. And, if someone, you can get a hot and ready pizza, but if Emeril Lagasse is going to make you a pizza, but you have to wait 4 hours, I'm waiting 4 hours for the Emeril Lagasse pizza. And he's going to bam the hell out of it. You know what I mean?
Bam.
Yeah, I'm going to do that unless I'm high.
Then you want the hot and ready.
Then I'll just take the hot and ready, and then I'll wait for Emerald as well. But I'm just saying, it's worth the wait. If it's and like you said, like Abra said earlier, if you don't want to, just talk to them. Don't get on Twitter. Don't be make a comment on other people so passive aggressive. Go to the person directly. And try to get them to understand your point of view, and if they don't, just refund.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And if you want the book again, buy one of the extra copies, or wait until the book is starting to fulfill, or they say, "Hey, I'm going to printing." Go back it then.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't wait for nothing.
That's true. Yep, but. That's pretty much all I have, Jay. We have 114 people watching right now.
Awesome.
If you guys would be so kind as to hit the like button, maybe consider subscribing. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. And I really appreciate everyone showing up in the chat. I've had fun looking at all the comments here. Some funny.
Not one negative comment about JayBama. That's just
your
chat is so amazing. It's just
everyone's so sweet.
it's so beautiful. I love you all.
Yeah. Oh God, you're a hero. Yeah.
Yes, I'm the savior of ComicsGate.
But on that note, there are other people that are going to be streaming later. Who else is on tonight? Do we have the what day is this? Friday? I don't even know.
The ISOM review is in 30 minutes.
Okay.
About 25 minutes.
And then there's going to be, was it Ballers tonight?
Ballers on 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so let's go show some support for our ComicsGate friends and do that. And I guess till next time and everything. Jay, did you have anything you wanted to say or do a shout out before we go?
Shout out I give to these guys. Hey, use the hashtag more. Hashtag ComicsGate.
There you go.
add the other hashtags when you're promoting books and stuff. Let's just get this going on. And the same with on Instagram. Just hashtag the hell out of everything.
For sure. Oh, and the Diaz brothers. Yeah. So go over there, everybody, please, and support the Diaz. Phil and Brandon Diaz are just great guys. It was nice meeting them in Tampa too. And they make some really great art books over there. So go check it out.
Yeah. He has those mutton chops. It's
the chops, yeah.
He's like, oh, and when I saw him, I was like, oh man, you look like Elegante. And
no worries.
Yeah, it was Elegante was an old wrestler, and he's like, who? And I was like, well, you're tall and you got this. He's like, no, I'm Wolverine. I was like, no, you're Elegante, man.
Oh yeah, Rico Suave.
No, he was a big, tall basketball player. He came in. He was the one. Yeah, he wasn't so good. I don't think.
All right, you're doing a Shane. You're dragging it on. So let's. Yeah. I'm just kidding. All right, hang out for a few minutes if you don't mind, Jay, and everybody else. I will see you in the next video. Might be a few days before I can stream again because I am going to be out of town traveling. But yeah, definitely going to get back on the horse again when I get back. So thank you, everyone, and have a great evening and a great weekend.
Hail ComicsGate.
Bye.
50 cents off of me. I've had enough. Get the hell out of my house. In Jesus' name, I pray.